Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Kissinger with the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York. Today we are on part 3 of grade 3, lesson 13 on Ready. And we are going to be solving two-step word problems. So let's look at our example here first. It says, Bridget is packing strawberries in sandwich bags to sell at her gymnastics meet. She has 140 strawberries, and she makes bags of 5. So far, Bridget has packed 105 strawberries. How many more bags of 5 strawberries can Bridget make? Look how you can show your work using a diagram. So they use a tape diagram here, and they're going to show the 140 strawberries as the total of this whole tape diagram here. It says she's making bags of 5. And so far, she's packed 105 strawberries. So we have 105 here, and then we have 5 times B. B is the number of bags. We want to know how many more bags she can make, times 5, because there's 5 in each bag. So we'll start by doing 105 plus 5 times B equals 140. 5 times B equals 140 minus 105, because we can subtract this part that we know, this 105, and get just 5 times B if we subtract 105 from 140. If we take this whole 140, we subtract this part out, we're left with just this. So we're going to solve for 5 times B. So we know that 140 minus 105 is 35. So 5 times B equals 35. So what times 5 equals 35? Or we could look at it as 35 divided by 5, and we'll find that it's 7, because division is the inverse of multiplication. So we had a few different steps here. First, we had to subtract, and then we needed to divide to find our answer. So that's what most of our problems are going to look like today. In one way or another, we're going to be using 2 different steps or 2 different operations to solve. And we're going to practice kind of drawing a picture to visualize each word problem. So let's look at number 16, and we'll kind of work through these together. Students in Miss Kemp's class earn 1 point for each page they read. So every page they read in a book, they're getting 1 point. A student who earns 300 points gets a prize. Elise reads 8 pages a day for 7 days in a row. How many more points does she need to get a prize? I'm going to do exactly what they did in the example up here, and I'm going to draw a tape diagram. So here's my tape diagram. And I know if I'm in Miss Kemp's class, I want to win a prize. So I know that to win a prize, I need like this, 300 points. So I'm not good at drawing those fancy brackets like they did up there in the example. But our picture doesn't need to be perfect. We have 7 days in a row that Elise is going to read 8 pages. So let's draw in our days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And she read 8 pages each day. So I have 8 in each one of these boxes. So if I have 8 pages a day for 7 days, how can I figure out what this total is right here? And if you said that we could multiply 7 by 8, you would be correct. We could add 8 7 times, but that's the same as multiplying 7 by 8. And if I multiply 7 times 8, well, we won't go there yet. 7 times 8. We'll leave that just as 7 times 8. I'll put that in parentheses. And then this is what we need to find out, how many more points she needs to get that prize. So we're going to have 300 altogether. we have 7 times 8 plus this question mark is going to equal 300. Now, instead of a question mark, I want to get in the habit of using a letter. So instead of a question mark, I'm just going to put an N. N for a number we don't know. So 7 times 8 plus this N is going to give us 300. So I'm going to write that as an equation down here. And we have 300 is our total equals 8 times 7 plus N. Well, right away I know I can solve my my parentheses there. I'm going to keep this consistent too. We know that we can either do 7 times 8 or 8 times 7 because of our commutative property, but I don't want to make this more confusing than it has to be, so we'll stick with 7 times 8. So 300 equals 7 times 8 plus N. Well, 7 times 8 I know is 56 plus N equals 300. Now, how can I find out what that number is with this information? Well, I can't add 56 to N because I don't know what N is yet, but I know that subtraction is the inverse of addition. So if I can also write that as 300 minus 56. So I have 300 minus this 56 here, and I'll have this left over, equals N. Now I can figure out what N is. I need to do 300 minus 56. I'm going to have to borrow all the way from my hundreds place. I'm going to get myself 10 tens. That 3 is going to become a 2, so I'm stealing 100 from my hundreds place. And I'm going to make that 10 tens, which is the same as 100. And then I need to borrow one of those tens, so I'm going to make this a 9, and I'm going to get 10 ones. 10 ones minus 6, or 6 ones, is 4. 9 minus 5 is 5. And then we bring our 2 down, and we get 254. So Elise needs 254 more points. Oh, at least with an E at the end. So Elise needs 254 more points. So drawing a picture should help you. And in this next problem, I'm going to show you how you can remember to draw a picture every time and a good strategy to get into. So you're going to use this anytime that you try to solve a word problem. What I always like to start my work by doing is I write an R, a D, and a W. And it stands for read, draw, write. The first thing we're going to do is read the question. It says, Troy scored 945 points playing 3 games of pinball. He scored 312 points in the first game and 356 points in the second game. How many points did Troy score in the third game? So I want to at least mark all of my information here. I like to circle my numbers. I'll find all those numbers. And then I'm going to underline my question. So I read my problem. I got all my information that I need out of my problem. I'm going to cross out read. Now I've read my problem. Next thing I need to do is draw. So it says Troy scored 945 points. Well, I think a tape diagram will be easy to show that. I like using tape diagrams because you can use them for, they're really easy to use for pretty much any type of word problem, especially if you're not trying to draw a whole picture. You're not super artistic. Like I'm not. 945 points is going to be our total. So we have 945. And we know there's going to be 3 games altogether. So I'm going to split this into 3 parts. He scored 312 points in the first game. So first game is 312. Simple enough. And he scored 356 points in the second game. How many points did he score in the third game? So again, I'm going to do, I can do any letter. I'll do X this time as my letter. So that's what I'm trying to find. So now I've drawn a picture. I see my total. I see game 1, game 2, game 3. I'm trying to find X there for game 3. So my drawing part's done, but I need to do an equation here. So I'm going to start with my total, 945 equals 312 plus 356 plus X. So I know I can add those 2 numbers together first. So let's start by doing that. We have 312 plus 356, and we get 6 plus 2 is 8, 5 plus 1 is 6, 3 plus 3 is 6, and we get 945 plus 668, or equals 668 plus X. Now I don't know what X is, but subtraction is the inverse of addition. So I know that another way of looking at this is 945 minus these 2 added together, which is 668, will give me this left over. I'll have just X. So if I take this whole thing and I subtract out these parts, I have the 1 part left. So what I'll do is I'll do 945 minus 668 equals X. So I have a second equation I have to do here. 945 minus 668 equals, I'll need to borrow here, and I get 3, I get 15 instead of 5. 15 minus 8 is 7. I need to borrow again for my hundreds place. I'll have 8. Now I have 13 here in my tens place. 13 minus 6 is 7. And then 8 minus 6 is 2. So Troy scored 277 points in the third game. And that is my final step, which is I need to write my answer in the form of a sentence. So now I've done read, I read the problem, I drew a picture, and then I wrote my answer. Let's look at this one down here. In the morning, 134 books were checked out from the library. In the afternoon, 254 books were checked out, and 118 books were checked out in the evening. How many books were in all were checked out from the library that day? So let's figure out what our answer is here first. We have 134 in the morning, plus 254 in the afternoon, plus 118 in the evening. We're going to add all those together. We can do those all at once. We'll do 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Carry our 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Put our 0 down there. We carry our 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And we get 506. Now, Paulo chose B as the correct answer. How did he get that answer? So if he got 388, how would he have figured out, how would he have gotten that answer? So I have to look at my numbers here. It says 134 plus 254 plus 118, and I got 506. So I know the correct answer is D. How would he have got 388 instead? Well, I'm looking at these two numbers here, and it looks like that ends in an 8. Let's see if we add those two numbers together. 134 plus 254. We have 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So it looks like Paulo just added 134 plus 254, and he didn't add this third number, 118. So I would think that if he got that, he only added 2 of the 3 numbers together, and he only added them most likely because he didn't read the problem fully. He just looked at these numbers. He saw, oh, okay, 134 plus 254, 134 in the morning, 254 in the afternoon, and then he stopped reading the question, added them together, read this final part of the question, and got B. So that's why it's really important that we read through the entire question and really pay attention to what it's asking. And that's why this strategy, this read, draw, write, is going to help you a lot, because this just writing down this read, it reminds me to read the whole question and really take my time with it. And then when I draw, I'm thinking about my question even a little bit more. So it's 2 steps instead of just 1. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.